A prosperous family travels east to the capital city. 2 generations later, they name a growing clump of matter Fazang. At the age of 16, he burned off a finger as an offering to Buddha. The next year, he wandered off for the Taipei Mountain, home to many reclusive, truth-seeking individuals. While looking for a teacher, Fazang spent several years studying Buddhist texts with others. But when his parents became ill, he returned home. Upon his return, Fazang met Qi Yan, the second patriarch of the Huayan school of Buddhism. The two got along like peas and carrots, and before Qi Yan died in the year 668, he named Fazang as his successor, aka the third patriarch of the Huayan school. Meanwhile, Empress Wu Chao lost her mother, and converted her mother's residence into the Taiyuan temple. Fazang was chosen to be abbot of the new monastery. Empress Wu became perhaps the strongest supporter of Buddhism in the Tang dynasty, and under her wing Fazang rose to mythical proportions, summoning victories in battles, rains amidst droughts, and beams of light from his mouth when he spoke. He remained a patron to imperial rulers for 41 years, until his death in the year 712. He spent this period translating and commenting on religious texts and composing original treatises. It's an honor for me to introduce to you, back from the dead, Fazang. When it comes to consciousness, no other school seems to understand the significance of interconnectedness. Certainly nothing exists in isolation. Everything exists only in relationship to everything else. We are defined by everything else, and at the same time we define everything else. Imagine this. A government issues 10 coins, which are only worth anything in units of 10. A coin by itself is not then truly a coin. For each coin to be truly a coin, all 10 coins are necessary. Each coin is simultaneously effect and cause. Each coin is powerless without the existence of all others, yet each coin by its existence creates all others. As you can see, this can get quite complex. Infinitely complex, in fact, because everything is constantly cause and effect of everything else. Everything infinitely interpenetrates everything else. Imagine 2 mirrors facing each other with a candle in the middle. It is like this that the candle's flame enters into everything infinitely. Imagine next a net extending infinitely in all directions. At each node, where threads cross, there is a clear gem. The net is curved so that in each gem can be clearly seen the reflections of all other gems. Inside each reflection of a gem can still be seen the reflection of all other gems. The universe is like this. Many have argued about the nature of emptiness and the role of consciousness, but in the process most have forgot the true nature of things as described by the Buddha Shakyamuni shortly after he attained Buddhahood. In the Flower Garland Sutra, he describes the illuminated state of mind, which sees all things clearly. From the sutra, it becomes clear that true perception is itself a consciousness, and is inherently real. The Buddha's knowledge entered into all times with complete equanimity. His body filled all worlds, his voice universally accorded with all the lands in the 10 directions. Each of his hair tips was able to contain all worlds without interference. What the Flower Garland Sutra is describing can be called Tathagata-garbha, or Buddha nature. Despite what Madhyamakins assert, Tathagata-garbha is not empty. In fact, all things are without self-nature except the Tathagata-garbha, which is ever present and pure. Upon a realization of emptiness, all mind-made distinctions crumble, and what is left is the Tathagata-garbha. The phenomenal world is the transformation of the Tathagata-garbha under the influence of ignorance. Think of an ocean with a strong wind making waves on the surface. The wind is ignorance, which falsely leads us to think that the waves are separate, but the essence of the waves is the same. In this way, the Buddha nature permeates all phenomena, whether they know it or not. To realize this is to reach the 9th level of consciousness. This is where previous Yogacharans fall short. They say there are 8 consciousnesses, and that the 8th consciousness, or the storehouse consciousness, dissolves with enlightenment. But then what is left? Tathagata-garbha, of course.
Bodhiruchi was right to include the ninth consciousness in his translation of Vasubandhu's treatise on the 10 Stages Sutra. To experience the ninth level of consciousness is to experience nirvana.
In light of these improvements to Buddhist thought, it is necessary to redefine our notions of karma. Karma does not exist only in the storehouse consciousness, as has been previously thought. Rather, it is also inherent in the environment in which one is born. The karmic position of one's environment infinitely interpenetrates everything else. Thus, karma is universal. One's material conditions, then, result from a combination of one's storehouse consciousness and the universal karmic condition.
With respect to the true nature of the universe and the role of consciousness within it, I think you will agree that the Huayan school points to a bold and beautiful, yet logically sound system that most accurately captures the essence of the enlightened state. However, this is not to say that the other schools are wrong. The other Yogacarans have thus far been on the right track, but have not gone far enough. The mind-only school posits that reality is nothing more than transformations within our consciousness. But if consciousness is conscious of other consciousness, then each transforms the other. With all the consciousness in the universe, these transformations become infinite, and together become a universal consciousness, a concept missing from traditional Yogacaran thought. Likewise, the Madhyamakins have missed the true nature of enlightenment, instead focusing on the conditions necessary for enlightenment to occur. The realization of emptiness is valuable on the path to enlightenment, but emptiness utterly fails to describe the interconnected beauty revealed when mind-made distinctions dissolve into Tathagatagarbha, the essence of the universe.